Hello friend, my name is Asindra, and today I'm going to continue playing for you Magical Otoge CL, although I'm pretty sure this is just going to be the extras. So, let's look at the CG gallery first. Oh, it's locked. There's a locked one. So this was when we first went to Fior with Florian, and this is the time Florian took shards of glass to the back, and this is the time Florian kissed our forehead. And this is the time that we were in that haunted house with Anton, and he smiled. This is that time where the floor collapsed underneath us with Anton. This is the time where Anton was bleeding out while we were crying. And this is the time where we hugged Yvonne. Yay! Oh, he smiled. Okay. So, let's go look at the extras then. Our author's note, sorry. Oh, look at that, that's adorable. Hello everyone, I'm Baten-san, the creator of this game. Thank you so much for playing Magical Otoge CL. Sorry that I couldn't think of a better title. At the very least, it's straightforward. I have 2 other dating sims planned that take place after Magical Otoge CL with different protagonists, so look forward to them too. Awesome. In this author's note, I'm going to talk about some behind-the-scenes thoughts and development behind this cheesy game. I'll also be showing some special pictures in this note. I'm not going to mention any specific spoilers, but this note might best be saved for after finishing all the routes. Now then, pick what you want to read about. Whoa. So many things. Okay. Although this is the first properly completed dating sim that I've made, this is actually the 4th Otoge story that I've created. The first one is the Ancient Project's ID, which is finished and can be found on my art page, but is missing a few things. The first and second were called Magical 1 and Magical 2, with Ciel's story being Magical 3. Magical 3 takes place before 1 and 2, but is largely irrelevant to their stories. On the other hand, Magical 1 and 2 are eventually intertwined. The amount of time between all 3 magical titles is unknown. You might be wondering why I made the Magical 3 before 1 and 2. I started working on Magical 1, but I felt pretty unmotivated and things weren't going well. But sometime I created Florian and Anton and talked about maybe making a dating sim for them. I thought that if it was just 2 guys, I could get the game done. And hearing people wanting to go for them, usually Anton, started to get me going. I think I'm reading this too fast. I can't tell you how important all of your support is to me. Thank you. But before I spill my heart out, let's talk more about Magical. Oh wow, here's Melanie, the protagonist of Magical 1. I'm planning for this game to be my next project. I guess I'll just call it Magical Otoge Melanie. Oh well. Melanie is the most cheerful and forward out of the 3 magical main characters. She's so bright and bubbly that people tend to think she's an idiot. I wouldn't say that she is all the way, though. She's actually very good at learning and using magic, and is very conscious about how people feel. Whoa. She's also a huge romantic, so I'm sure you guys will understand. I'm sure you'll enjoy seeing how she interacts with her potential guys. So there's Raphael, Ray, Mark, and Leon. By the way, I made these designs a while ago, so I'll probably redesign their outfits a while later. Sorry. New MVP. And over time, my interest in some of the characters has faded, so I might end up scrapping some of them. Aw, they're probably gonna get rid of the blonde one. Protect, keep, might get scrapped. Get rid of, question mark. Here's Rory, the protagonist of Magical 2. I guess the game would be called Magical Otoge Rory, believe it or not. This actually looks like my friend Rory, who played as Ruby and stuff in the thing. Never mind, it's not important. She's the physically strongest out of the 3 magical MCs, and has a lot of battle experience. She's also the most dense out of the 3 of them. Maybe that'll change, though. So what, Ciel's the smartest? Oh my god, look at that. Look forward to both of their stories. I will. But do you remember how Marchen said that Otoge CL ends happily for once? I can't say the same for those 2 games. Aw. Okay, Ciel's descendants. By the way, Ciel's eventual descendants are roots in Magical 2. I I shall reserve the urge to do so, sir. You pose two, Theo. Okay, Cyril and Theodore. One is Cyril, and he's basically a pompous snowflake. He's the one on the right. The other person is Theodore, Cyril's knight. They're distant cousins or something. Theodore is very dry and doesn't like Cyril very much. On the surface, Cyril is nothing like Ciel, but he actually has a strong sense of justice similar to her. He likes following fundamental and obvious rules, like using the crosswalk when you cross the street. He gets mad if people don't use the crosswalk, or if people cross when the light tells you not to. He'd say, why have basic rules if you barbarians aren't going to follow them? Go ahead and get hit by a carriage. Get out of the gene pool. By the way, I don't know if cars exist in this world. If I had to guess, I'd say yes. That kind of doesn't make sense, but I guess my answer is sure they do. It doesn't really matter. I did have Yvonne mention high definition and toasters and airports after all. Cyril has a lot of respect for all that Ciel does later in her life. If they met, he would be initially and uncharacteristically polite to her, but he'd ease up and let his pompous side show. Ciel is a patient person, though, so she would just laugh and appreciate how spirited and ambitious he is. The funny thing is that I created Cyril before Ciel. Oh well. The game was supposed to be the third one after all. Story. One day I designed Ciel because I thought about how I wanted her to be the third protagonist. Oops. I clicked the wrong thing. I thought about making her the leader of some good pirates or something. I already decided she was a leader type. I left the idea alone for a while, and Ciel became a princess once I decided Florian and Anton were knights. And then I decided that Ciel wasn't going to be a real princess in the middle of writing the story. She was still a princess when the demo came out, but yeah. By the way, I think I drew Ciel a little short in this picture. Don't think that these are perfect references for height or anything. I tried to hammer out all the inconsistencies that I could in the story. Have mercy. Also, the slimes sometimes said gua, but mostly said bois. Let's just say that they say both. The story definitely changed a lot during the few months of development. The king was much more casual character and wasn't so bent on keeping Ciel in the kingdom. Ciel just kind of freely left in the original story. Anton was also supposed to try and persuade Ciel to go back to the kingdom, but in the actual game, he's already yielding by the end of the introduction. I was worried about this chemistry between the characters of the game, but their personalities worked out to make some interesting dialogue. By the way, sometimes after I finally finished all the character portraits, I had a nightmare that I had more portraits to do. Oh no. I actually started writing the Fior Flower Gate scene when they first got to Fior. But the way that the other guys were so supportive of Ciel and her guy, I thought, wait, something like this belongs at the very end. And I ended up making it more dramatic and heartfelt too. You know, the design of Ciel, Florian, and Anton all end up having something bird-related about them. It wasn't really intentional, but I noticed it and thought, oh, well that's fine. Alright, Florian. Florian was originally a bit colder towards Ciel, but ended up becoming her best friend in the actual game. He was going to be much colder towards Anton, but I decided that I didn't want ill will between them because, you know, that's awkward and bad. The two brothers now recognize each other's strengths and get along decently well. Florian's snarky side is something he reveals from time to time to people who are on his level or lower, but particularly to people he doesn't like. Such as Yvonne. He doesn't hang around other people enough for it to show all the way. Sometimes he says sarcastic things in good humor to Ciel. However, because of Kid Ciel's role in supporting Kid Florian, he ended up never really being full-blown mean sarcastic to her. Florian tends to talk more casually to Ciel than to the others, but he starts talking more formally when he gets nervous around her. Did you notice that Florian tends to not say her name at all when they're alone? He secretly feels more comfortable with calling her Ciel instead of Lady Ciel, but is too nervous to do it. Aww! He'd never admit it, but he feels that saying lady is too stuffy. Also, Florian doesn't get jealous of Ciel and Anton. He really does just want her to be happy after all. Poor Florian. Anton is definitely more popular than he is. Really? I don't see it. I wonder who's more popular between Anton and Yvonne, though. By the way, I can never remember how to draw Florian's bangs, even though they aren't anything too complicated. Now then, Jesus Christ. Ah yes, Anton. Beautiful, beautiful Anton. Anton is definitely a fan favorite in part because of his intensely radiant looks, as in the luscious locks of flowing crimson hair. I purposely made him look sinister, like a dark knight or something. Because of that, it's pretty refreshing when you realize he's a very sincere and good person. He's a little dense, too, and it's wonderful. Just to clear things up, if you don't go for him, Anton has no romantic feelings for Ciel. Oh. You might have gotten the impression that he does at the end of Florian's Route at the Flower Gates, but nah. Oh, but that doesn't mean it's completely set in stone. Who knows? This note is for elaborating on some stuff, but that doesn't mean you can't have fun. His story is my personal favorite, and I often clutched my heart when I thought about it. All throughout writing the story, I was sobbing. He's all alone. Don't leave him by himself, Ciel. I felt pretty sad when I drew his younger portrait, too. I just clutch his heart. My sister also made fun of me a lot, claiming that I had major bias for Anton and subsequently shoved everyone else, as in Florian, out the window. I feel bad for Florian because people usually switch favorites once they see Anton and Yvin, but I mean, not much we can do about that. By the way, did you notice that Anton switches between using and not using contractions in his speech? He was originally going to flat out never use contractions, but then I was like, is he really that stuffy of a guy? No. So he ended up just using them whenever, depending on the context and how he's feeling. Or rather, what I'm feeling that he should feel. Alright. I guess the general rule is that he doesn't use contractions when he's serious or when he feels uncomfortable and is forcing himself to act right. Of course, it also depends on who he's talking to. I feel that if you like Anton and then do Florian's Route, you'll feel really bad for Anton. His conversation with the wood spirit would hurt more in that case. It sure did hurt me. I had a lot of trouble thinking about making a kiss scene with Anton. Okay. I thought, I am too sinful, Anton is too pure, I cannot touch him. By the way, Anton's horse's name is Alexander. I'm not sure what Alexander looks like, but he's probably mainly black with some white. Oh, by the way, here's a pretend picture if Anton had white hair. Some of you might be into that, I don't know. I think that looks more like... I don't know, my favorite is Yvin and then Florian and then Anton, but that's just by looks alone. I'm not really sure about their stories yet, but I think that if he had white hair, that would be interesting as well. Now then, let's talk about Yvin, everyone's favorite smooth operator. I do quite like him. He wasn't supposed to exist at all, actually. I was supposed to only stick to the 2 routes so I could get myself to finish the game, but Yvin came into existence one day and ruined my life. He was originally supposed to be a serious character who worked under the king, but he ended up becoming a semi-joke character. He was hired to watch over Ciel in the universe where the king was hesitant but okay with letting her leave. He was going to detachedly rescue Ciel, as a serious character, from the bandits, which would be his first time appearing before her. There would have been an option to hug him, which would have thrown him off his game, like a lot. This Yvin looked a little different from the current Yvin. Yvin evolved or devolved into a joke once my sister and I joked about him hiding in bushes and accidentally seeing romantic scenes. He then started to get more supportive of their relationship and ended up supporting Ciel's independence. So he stopped being a real serious character overall, but retained the collected manner about him. He says and does weird and funny stuff. I think it's easy to get attached to him in the serious way because of his silky smooth personality and charisma. Yvin's character grew on me a lot as I wrote more of his snarky and unpredictable dialogue, to which I tapped into my inner sass to write. By the time Yvin was already a semi-joke character, I was wondering what kind of backstory he'd have. I thought, he isn't just some guy, right? I proposed that he could secretly be a prince who also left his kingdom or something, but my sister shot that idea out of water. It seemed a little silly to me afterwards, too. So now there's the conversation between Ciel and Yvin where she jokes about it, and Yvin finds it the most hilarious thing he's ever heard. And he really is just some guy. I really enjoyed writing Yvin's appearance to save Ciel from the bandits and their conversation afterwards. I'm sure a lot of people looked forward to the 2 of them talking again, too. Yvin's scene in the haunted house in Florian or Anton's Routes is my favorites, too. Yeah, where the ghosts are all kibitzing. Because of my grown attachment to Yvin, I was really suffering while writing his final goodbye scene with Ciel if you go for Florian or Anton. Another interesting thing about this interesting guy is that he, a character not originally in the story, ended up driving the plot and solving problems. I felt really sad as I drew the end card too. If you don't realize, the box contains picture memories of Ciel's journey. Yvain took more pictures off screen, by the way. I feel like the story would have been a lot more boring without Yvain there. This development is truly incredible, just like Yvain. Also, I don't really know how to pronounce his name, but I say Yvain. Oh. And, by the way, I was trying to imply something special about Yvain's route, but maybe I was too subtle or something. Let's just say that Yvain's route wouldn't have been possible without clearing the main route first. Something like that. I'm not too sure what I was trying to get at, too, though. Sorry about leaving out the part with the Viren Kingdom, if anyone remembers. I do! I thought that we were supposed to do that with, Yvain. I felt that it wasn't really important to the story anymore. It used to be, though. It's true that there's another character along with Yvain that I made up one day. I didn't want to get too invested in it, so I just left it for now. If Magical Otoge Ciel gets popular, I might make that route one day. Emphasis on the one day. Think of it as an incentive to share my game, even though I was just too lazy to do it. The character's name is Lan. His story with Ciel is truly, truly very pure and sweet and bright. You might want to invest in some sunglasses. No, okay. Some of you might be wondering who Marchen is. Marchen isn't a god, but is something akin to it. I thought Marchen was Ven. Marchen isn't Ven either, by the way. Aw, damn it. Marchen is from another one of my stories, the one with Jun and Shu, tentatively named Restart, that I want to make into a webcomic one day. Marchen doesn't actually have too big a part in that story, but Marchen's design is one of my favorites. I started doodling Marchen's portrait one day and then thought, hey, what if I had Marchen in my game, just because? In other words, Marchen is in the game because of a whim. Well, that's how it usually goes. You can think of Marchen as someone who knows everyone's story. Marchen guards over people's dreams and protects everyone from dying from your dream or being called too deep into it. The thing about Marchen is that you meet Marchen countless times, but you always end up forgetting. So he's like those things in Doctor Who. Marchen feels sad about that, but accepts it fully. Marchen wishes the best for you, after all. Sweet dreams! I don't actually have a lot of details on him yet. Drawing his portrait was kind of spontaneous, too. He was going to never appear, but just communicate through voice. I'm glad I did, though. I really love everything about him. This is Ven, by the way. I don't know if I told you. Ven is definitely on about the same level of Marchen. They've probably met before. I had a lot of fun writing Ven's scenes, so I hope you enjoyed his short-lived appearance, too. But don't worry, Ven is definitely going to appear in future Magical Otoge games. At least as long as I still like how his portrait looks. The thing that would happen in the future that Ven was talking about is going to come up in future Magical Otoge games. Probably. May fortune smile upon you. What was up with all the puns? Yeah, I hope you don't mind the awful puns that I put into the game. In the very beginning, I didn't have any puns in the game. But then a friend of mine asked me if there were any puns in the game yet, since I unfortunately make puns a lot. If you feel any physical pain from the abundant, or should I say abundant, puns in the game, please direct your anger to that friend of mine. Feel free to punish them, or maybe even punch them. Naturally, I feel obligated to insert puns into my game because of the question. Personally, I really liked Yvain's very first ruffian smoothian pun in the introduction. It really lets you know what Yvain's all about. Florian and Anton don't seem to like puns very much, especially Florian. Florian doesn't like the intent that goes along with making puns after all. You know what I'm talking about. Now then. Wow, so you have a lot of free time, huh? Although I started rough ideas about the game in late January of 2015, I got most of the work done in June and July. It was summer break, so I needed something to occupy my time. And I've been wanting to make a proper dating sim again. So yeah, I guess I had free time. Now, okay. Credits. This game was made using visual novel engine Ren'Py. Everything else besides the music was painstakingly made by me. Sound effects in the music tracks of Before the Dawn, Heaven Sent, Mountain Air, A Gift to Last, and You and Me are from freefx.co.uk. Some music tracks were created by Kevin MacLeod. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. They are The Court of the Queen, Decline, Fairy Tale Waltz, Jaunty Gumption, Ossuary 6, Air, Run Amok, Sidewalk Shade. There is Romance, Touching Moments 4, Melody, Touching Moments 2, Higher, Two Together, Vivacity, Evening Melodrama. Other music tracks are from RPGmaker.net. They are under Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial 3.0 Unported License. Jasprelo, Town of Wishes, Taranon, Resin, Excalnarok, Peaceful Moment, Snowy Fox, Tranquil Town, Subaru, Victory Theme, Subaru A Day's Rest, Kunsel Cool Stuff, Reclaim Glory Midnight Serenade, and that's all of them. You would have had a very silent game without them, so thanks, music people. Now then, goodbye. Again, thank you so much for playing. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free to ask me. Please do tell me about your favorite characters and moments. You can send me a message at bantensan.tumblr.com or bantensan@gmail.com or ask.fm/bantensan if it's a question. I read every message even if I don't reply. Motivate me to make more cheesy games like this. The best way you can support me is by sharing this game with others and telling me what you thought. It means more to me than you might think. To a lesser extent, you can always donate to me and help me live. Sure, I can draw $1, but then what? I'm not expecting anyone to donate, but the link is always on my art blog if you want me to feel the raw power of being Santa Claus. And if you don't like the game, then I guess you could slander me or something. Goodbye for now, and look forward to my future projects. See you soon! So in the next video, which will probably be released with this one, we will do the character Q&A, and if we have time, dinner with the main cast. So, sorry, I've got the hiccups now. Thank you for watching this. I love you, bye-bye!